This is my 4004 video assignment. Community cohesion involves improving relationships between individuals living in the same area that have different personal characteristics and/or may have a protected characteristic under Equality Act 2010, such as race, religion, sexual orientation, etc. It also involves including newly arrived members being welcomed by existing community members. To create community cohesion, there must be opportunities that individuals with diverse personal characteristics to have comparable life opportunities and have building trust among each other whilst also having confidence and trust in local institutions to act fairly. Community cohesion fosters a sense of belonging to a place, group, or community, promoting peace among residents and enhancing safety and security in neighbourhoods. Community cohesion offers broad benefits such as empowering communities to solve problems collaboratively, encouraging volunteering, fostering equality, and reducing crime and antisocial behaviour. For police teams, cohesive communities contribute to crime prevention, self-regulated communities, intelligence gathering, and mediation during tensions. Gaining public trust is crucial for police and other agencies, especially in communities with existing mistrust due to personal experiences or societal narratives. Community cohesion also supports community policing as it helps to build individuals' trust and sense of police legitimacy. These are key elements of policing by consent. Furthermore, community policing is recognised as a strategic approach due to its proactive, preventative, and problem-oriented nature. Community tension emerges when strange relationships within, between groups, or toward institutions create fear, anxiety, or instability. These tensions may come from real or perceived events, prejudices, or actions, and may escalate over time. A specific incident might intensify the tension, leading to disorder or criminal behavior. A group calling itself the United Peoples of Luton called a counter-protest and persuaded hundreds of young white men to take to the streets. They later rebranded as the English Defence League. The EDL is best understood as an Islamophobic new societal movement born of a particularly unattractive and intolerant strand of English nationalism. It is symptomatic of an English identity crisis, drawing on native English identity as its principal weapon against an alien Islam identity. This emerged from nationalistic groups linked to football casual culture and opposing jihadism. They emerged in March of 2009. It began in Luton, where it has a history of ethnic tension and where there is an Islamic population of around 30,000. An Islamic group named Al-Muhajirun protested a parade held by the Royal Anglian Regiment to mark its return from Afghanistan. The EDL was formed by a counter-protest. When the group rebranded as the EDL, they began to hold demonstrations across the country, such as in cities like London, Birmingham, Manchester, Leicester, etc. This attracted many supporters who wanted to go drinking, agitate anti-fascists, and shout demeaning comments about Muslims. Numerous protests led to violence as participants broke through police lines to assault local Asians, clashed with counter-protesters, and attacked Asian-owned businesses and properties. The English Defence League raises several policing challenges during their demonstrations. Public order management. During EDL demonstrations and protests, conflicts arose with the UAF and other counter-protesters. This led to physical violence, disruption and destruction of shops, etc. Consequently, this led to arrests being made. The police must manage these situations whilst ensuring the safety of all involved. Resource distribution. In response to these early demonstrations, the police deployed increasing numbers of officers at protests and ensured that counter-protesters were separated. The EDL protests and demonstrations required a lot of resources such as personnel and equipment, which led to strains on local police forces. Freedom of assembly v public safety. In 2010, the EDL planned a march in Leicester, but the Home Secretary, in response to requests from the City Council and police, banned the procession. Instead, the EDL held a static rally. Leicestershire Police arranged buses to transport them to the rally point, but conflict and disorder occurred during the transfer. The use of force. Reports have criticised the police for excessive use of force in some cases, particularly against counter-protesters on specific community groups. In particular, at a later EDL protest in Leicester, it was reported that young Muslim men gathered near the city centre faced strong police action. Anti-Islamic sentiment. The EDL accused Muslims of following a racist ideology they called Islamic supremacism. This fueled a narrative that non-Muslims were victims, framing EDL protests as a response to perceived unfair treatment. This isolated the Muslim community and incited fear in many communities. Demonstrations. Escalate to violence and disrupts disorder, creates fear and mistrust, plus destruction of property, particularly Asian-owned businesses. The EDL's demonstrations and protests created fear and mistrust throughout the community, especially as tensions raised and violence escalated. Social media presence. Before the European counter-jihad rally in March 2012, the EDL flooded Twitter with posts claiming the demonstrators were doing God's work and expressing gratitude for living in white Christian Britain. There was also hate messages and vitriol being posted on platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, which can and did incite hostility and further isolation of the different communities. EDL marches heightened community tensions, particularly in areas with diverse populations. The anti-Islamic rhetoric and demonstrations created divisions and instabilities, leading to feelings of fear and anxiety among Muslim communities. Counter-protests against the EDL frequently escalated to violence, further straining relationships between groups. Policing these events posed significant challenges. Authorities had to balance the EDL's right to protest with the need to maintain public safety and protect vulnerable communities. The complexity of managing these demonstrations highlighted the fine balance between upholding rights and ensuring community cohesion. Here's my reference list.